trip. Oh, you've heard it from the boss man himself. We are going on a road trip. You know the drill by now. Going to Heidelberg, picking up our sister, driving to Brussels, trying to fly to Africa. Let's see. My brother's driving. I'm doing office stuff in the backseat. Let's see. I mean, this needs to work out now. This has to work out. Period. You cannot make this up. So we picked up my sister. Now we're charging the car again. And you just went inside and they ask you, wait a minute, are you here often?
Yeah, I was like, oh yes, yeah, sometimes.
Like they know us now. We've been here before. Same supercharger. So yeah, the driving is going well. One more supercharger before Brussels, and we are having a riddle drive thing. Everybody asks the other people riddles. The best one was so far: what's in the water but never gets wet? What's in the water but never gets wet? Think about it. There's a good answer. It's no bullshit answer. There's a good answer. Makes sense.
Oh, und wir sind gleich in Belgien. Now we arrive in Belgium. Man sieht niemanden hier.
Good morning in the morning. We arrived here at midnight and now it's time for trying to get all the suitcases back in the car. My brother remembers the system, where to put which suitcase.
I don't remember, I took a photo.
See, that's being smart. It's called preparing yourself. And then 1 hour drive to the airport. Obviously, Dad is kind of late. Comme toujours. Mais c'est la vie. Ah. Alright, then it was time to go to the airport and we found a car park that we already booked in advance where the Tesla can stay during our days in Africa. The flight is about 8 hours and it was a smooth ride, everything fine, and then we landed in Kinshasa. Our family picked us up and greeted us with a very nice meal and my favorite Congolese beer called Skol. Very good stuff. Schwestern haben geil aufgekocht für uns, Mann. Das ist so geil. You know, guys, I've been really thinking, how am I trying to explain what Kinshasa is like? How will I try to give you my view of this country and the city? And I think I just show you guys different things that we experienced there and just talk over it, give you a voice over. And I think one thing that's important to know is that Kinshasa is huge. It's the biggest French-speaking city in the world with about 20 million people living in there. Nobody really knows for sure how many people there, but 20 million is an estimate. And infrastructure is really an issue there. So there's no electric cars, like none, because there's just not enough electricity as it is. There's daily blackouts. Like you will have blackouts multiple times a day. Sometimes they last for hours, and everybody who can afford it has a generator. So then the people that have some money, they do have electricity all day, every day, and people who can't afford it, which is the majority, they oftentimes don't have any electricity. And due to the old cars plus the diesel generators to produce electricity, the air in the city is just bad, like unthinkable for a Western citizen of the world to have this air. It's just very, very bad. And the traffic is so horrible. You get stuck in traffic jams pretty much every day. Almost doesn't really depend what time of the day it is. There will be traffic jams. And one thing I also noticed, just after, not immediately, but after a few days, I noticed that there is basically no nature. There's no parks in the city. So in Germany, there's city planning, and it's very important that cities are green and that there's places where people can relax and places where there's fresh air, right? But in Kinshasa, there's very few places where there's many trees or just parks or grass or just areas where people can chill and relax. Everything basically is used for people to live. And there's this one place that I did find, and there was a soccer pitch. And since I'm from Munich, I'm a supporter of FC Bayern Munich, my home team, and I was so happy to see a group of guys, a team that was also Bayern Munich fans. So I connected with them. I told them that I was from Munich, and it was exciting for everybody. And we took some pictures, and it was a really nice connection. So of course, Congolese people also love soccer a lot. But most people don't really do sports because there's, first of all, not many spaces for it. There's no basketball courts, soccer pitches, or bowling alleys or tennis courts. Just not a lot of that stuff. Life is just centered around survival. You don't really think like, what is my hobby? What's the next book I'm going to read? When can I play sports with my friends? It's for most people just about how do I get through this day? How can I find the money for a family member to see a doctor? Or how can I send my kids to a higher school? Poverty is a huge issue in the Congo. Congo, from the minerals that the country has, is one of the richest countries in the world. But people living there, the Congolese people, they are still the poorest people basically on the planet, which is so sad. One of the highlights also on this trip was visiting my godchild in a school project that I support for 10 years plus, and the joy of the kids, seeing a supporter, so myself, visiting them, and also talking with them a little bit. Just it was such a beautiful experience for everybody, probably more for me even than for them, and this also is for me, when I try to give, but I honestly believe that I get more in return that I can give. Just the joy and the thankfulness of people when you make an effort. It's so beautiful, and giving is such a nice experience, and trying to make a difference is such a worthwhile cause for me that really motivates me, and again gives me more than I give. And my family, they have a beautiful family there. They are honest people. They have talents, and they just don't have the opportunities that we in the Western world have. And that also goes for other people that I've met. For instance, there were 3 young musicians.
Yeah!
They're just good. They built their own instruments, and we recorded them. So I sent them to a studio, and this actually music that you're listening to now, it's their stuff, and they're good. But it's just so hard for them to just record themselves because they don't even have smartphones. It was a really cool experience, and just seeing them doing their thing, and just being really good at their stuff without having expensive equipment, right? And for me, it's just so obvious that we have it so good in the Western world. There's like, you have basic education, you have basic healthcare, especially in Europe. I'm not sure in the US it might be a little bit difficult with healthcare for many people, but in Europe you have the basic needs of your life, they're taken care of. And even when you lose your job, the government will give you money, and you will basically never lose your apartment, or very rarely. It's very hard in Europe or in Germany to lose your apartment and to really go hungry. And I mean, even I would say a poor person in Germany right now has a better life than the King of France 200 years ago. You have a better life expectancy, you have entertainment, you have better healthcare, you don't die of diarrhea. You have your phone, you can watch free YouTube videos for entertainment, you can learn things for free on the internet. You have mobility. It's amazing how good our lives are in the Western world, and I think it's important to really make good use of those opportunities, because we cannot take it for granted. And once you make something out of yourself, try to extend a hand to people that didn't have those opportunities, and try to make it better for other people. And in the process of doing so, you will gain so much for yourself that in a weird way, it's kind of selfish to even help other people, because it just feels so good, right? So I think that's the name of the game, just trying to see the good things that we have, take advantage of them, and then try to make them accessible for more people. This trip is a big reminder for perspective, really seeing how good things are and how bad sometimes things are in other places, but also how there's many beautiful things, right? Just also positivity of people living in difficult situations and people finding ways to make bad situations less bad with very little resources. It's also very inspiring. So those are my thoughts, a little bit rambling, I don't know. But the Congo is such a complicated place, and I am half Congolese, but it's just my second time there. I'm not an expert, I don't claim to be an expert on the Congo or in Kinshasa, so those are just my observations, my thoughts, and yeah, I'll leave you with those. And yeah, have a wonderful day and make something out of yourself and out of this life, and hopefully you can also help other people succeed in their lives.